Okay, so here I am going back over function notation because it looks like some of y'all have had some problems with understanding function notation. Oops, I just dropped something. Oh no. So let me go over this and let's see how we do. We're going to evaluate and explain function rules. So let's look at the first example. I want you to be able to evaluate and explain. So kind of keep in mind, like here, if I ask you something like here's f of 6 or f of 2y, notice this time I am plugging in a variable, but a little bit different than before. Okay, so you can see how this is playing out. I'm putting the 6 in place of the x. This is not very hard. You just plug it in and say, okay, 6 squared is 36. 2 times 36 is 72, and 72 minus 8 is 64. So at 6, the answer is 64. What does that mean? When the x was 6, the y value, f of x, was 64. Okay, so you got to kind of think of it in those terms. Now, 2y. Ooh, what do I do with 2y? I don't know. Let's find out. So we put in the 2y in here, and it's basically the same thing. The only difference is we've got a y, so we won't have a single numerical answer. So I put the y in there and say, okay, 2y squared means 2 squared is 4, and then I put a square with a y. So you notice that I'm giving the square to both terms. Okay, and then from there you're going to say 2 times 4 is 8, so I have 8y squared minus 8, and I'm done. That's it. I can't do anything. I'm done. Nada. Anymore. You're gone. No. That's it. So that's it for that. And that would be your answer at 2y. Okay, so here's another example. We're going to say take this for g of x equal to 0.5x squared minus 5x plus 3.5. All you're doing is plugging in the 2.8 in place of the x. I would use a calculator for that and then see what you get for an answer. So I'm going to show you basically this. What you would be typing into the calculator is this right here. That's what would get typed into the calculator. And then you'd press enter and see what you get for an answer. In this case, you should be getting 6.58. Then, so that would be your answer for that one. Then let's do the 4a. So if we do that, notice here 4a squared is 16a squared, 5 times 4 is 20a, half of 16 is 8. And that's pretty much all I can do, so that's my answer at 4a. So go with the idea that I will probably sneak one of those into the test, and you should be prepared for that. Okay, so now let's talk about explaining. So here's a table. We're talking about, say, a diver, and at the different depths, what type of ATM pressures that this person is feeling, what type of atmospheric pressures. Okay, so what would f of 60 mean? F of 60, well, what's first off at 60, the answer is 2.8. What does it mean? It means at a depth of 60 feet, you have atmospheric pressure, or the ATMs, the pressure would be 2.8 ATMs, which is 2.8 atmospheric pressure, which should mean that you should feel like almost 3 times heavier than what you normally would be. That's how much pressure is being exerted on you. Anyways, so basically, I want y'all to be able to write that out into a sentence and be able to just a quick explanation, but it's using the points or what's given to you. Okay, so let's look at another example. Here's one that talks about weight and cost, and you can see that weight is we're talking about bags of apples. So what does f of 4.5 mean? It means that at 4.5 pounds, your cost for the apples is going to be $3.60. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not something that you should think overly complicated. You should kind of keep it easy. So last part, let's look at the graphs again. Okay, so since quite a few of y'all had problems with this on the quiz, let's talk about this some more. What does it mean when I say, like, find or evaluate the function here when given a specific graph? Remember, this number in the parentheses represents the x. So if you look here, like at the x, -1, here's -1. But you go to the graph. At this point on the graph, what is that y value? That y value is 2. So that means at -1, we have a 2. And you can confirm that -1, 2 is a point on the graph. Remember, that represents a point. At 2, right here. 1, 2, 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went up to 5. I went up to 5. So kind of keep that in mind. That this point right here, here's 2, crossing over to 5. And then if I go to negative 3, which is right here, I'm right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm at 9. And so there we go. So you're basically like looking at those points like that, and just basically remember these are the x's, and you're just telling me what are the y values on the graph. Notice that all 3 of these points are on the graph. Alright, so this one's a short, quick, easy video. There you go. That's all you had to do for today. Make sure you have these for tomorrow. I will see y'all then. Thank you very much.